There was an article in Politico that came out about the Fed exploring a once-in-a-century bid to remake the U.S. dollar. The rise of private cryptocurrencies motivated the Fed to start considering a digital dollar to be used alongside the traditional paper currency. Now, people have heard more and more about this, but now the Fed is getting very serious about doing this. I think they're seeing that a lot of people are going into these cryptocurrencies. They don't trust the Fed. What I think is so funny about this article is I think they think that if they come out with their own digital currency, they'll get people that are already in these cryptocurrencies and switch them back. I don't think the Fed really realizes why people are getting in to these cryptocurrencies to begin with. They're getting in there for several reasons. One, it's cheaper to transfer money, which the Fed will try to duplicate that. But the other parts that they can't duplicate, and that is people are scared of the government seizing their assets. And that's why they're going in these cryptocurrencies that the Fed is not controlling. So the Fed thinks they're going to get them back. No way. I mean, that's not going to happen. And you might have some that will jump in it, but as a whole, people are not going to be going back into a fiat currency that the Fed will just print more money, but they're doing it in the digital dollar. It won't be like Bitcoin, these other currencies that have a limitation to them. And I think what you're going to see too is why would someone want to switch back into any sort of government type cryptocurrency or some sort of digital type currency they've got when they got a proven track record of spying on people and seizing their assets. I mean, this is why people are going in this. So I think it's a waste of time for them to do this. But I wanted to read out some of this article to show you, what they're trying to do. The Federal Reserve is taking what may be the first significant step towards launching its own virtual currency, a move that could shake up banks and give millions of low-income Americans access to the financial system and fortify the dollar status as the world's reserve currency. Now, this is one thing that is a real big benefit too, is the fact that it's helping a lot of poor people because it makes the transfers a lot cheaper. I see some of these transfers 10, 15, 20% on some of these transfers. And crypto has shown that it can do it very, very cheap and a lot quicker. The idea of creating a fully digital version of the U.S. dollar, which was unthinkable just a few years ago, has gained a lot of interest. And there's a lot of people, even politicians now, that are supporting this. But it went on to say the United States should not implement a central bank digital currency simply because we can or because others are doing so. The American Bankers Association said in a statement to lawmakers this week, banks are totally against this. They're going to lose a lot from this. The benefits are theoretical, difficult to measure, and may be elusive, while the negative consequences could be severe, the group wrote. And the explosive rise of private cryptocurrencies in recent years motivated the Fed to start considering a digital dollar to be used alongside the traditional paper currency. The biggest driver of concern was a Facebook-led effort launched in 2019 to build a global payments network using crypto technology. Though that effort is now much narrower, it demonstrated how the private sector could, in theory, create a massive currency system outside the government control. Now, central banks around the world have begun exploring the idea of issuing their own digital currencies, a fiat version of a cryptocurrency that would operate more like physical cash, that would have some of the same technological benefits of other cryptocurrencies. That could provide unwelcome competition for banks by giving depositors another safe place to put their money. A person or a business could keep their digital dollars in a virtual wallet and then transfer them directly to someone else's without needing to use a bank account. Also, folks, if you're interested in making, if you're making at least 150,000 US dollars a year or you have a net worth at least 1 million US and you want to legally get your income taxes to zero, how to get a second passport as quick as 45 days, do 3 things. Hit the subscribe button on the right of your screen right here and you'll get new videos as they come out automatically. And I would like to hear from you. If you got a question or comment, put it below. And number 3 is go to our website, www.citizenshipquickly.com, and ask for some help. All right, now, but unlike other crypto assets like Bitcoin or Ether, it would be directly backed and controlled by the central bank, allowing the monetary authorities to use it like any other form of the dollar in its policies to guide interest rates. Now, the Federal Reserve Bank of Boston and Massachusetts Institute of Technology's Digital Currency Initiative are aiming next month to publish the first stage of their work to determine whether a Fed virtual currency would work on a practical level. And open source license for the most basic piece of infrastructure around create a moving digital dollars. This is going to be really interesting to see if people are going to gravitate this. I mean, listen to this. You got Congress now, even on both sides, are trying to push this. But it will likely be up to Congress to ultimately decide whether the central bank should formally pursue such a project, as Fed Chair Jerome Powell has acknowledged. Lawmakers on both sides of the aisle are intrigued, particularly as the eye of China's efforts to build its own digital bank, digital currency, as well as the global rise of cryptocurrencies, both of which could diminish the dollar's influence. Now, even Senator Elizabeth Warren, she's speaking at a Senate committee hearing on the IRS budget request on Capitol Hill, and she's actually backing some of this too, which is kind of strange. Democrats have especially been skeptical about crypto assets because there are fewer consumer protections and currencies that can be used for illicit activity. There are also environmental concerns posed by the sheer amount of electricity used to unlock new limits of digital currencies like Bitcoin. Now, Warren suggested the Fed project could resolve some of those concerns. Legitimate digital public money could help drive out bogus digital private money while improving financial inclusion, efficiency, and the safety of our financial system. If that digital public money is well designed and efficiently executed, she said at a hearing on Wednesday, which she convened as chair of the Senate Banking Committee Economic Policy Subcommittee. So there are people that are actually, that are liberals that are actually backing this. But the fact is, they want something controlled. And where they could actually print more money, and also where they can still spy on your accounts. People don't want this. They're not going to get people that are in digital type currencies and cryptocurrencies right now. They're going to go back in this U.S. dollar digital type currency. It's just not going to happen. And I think what's going to happen, more and more people are finding out about this, and they're trusting these cryptocurrencies more. But other senators highlight the potential for central bank digital wallets to be used to deliver government aid more directly to people who don't have bank accounts. A digital dollar could also be designed to have more high-tech benefits of some cryptocurrencies, like facilitating smart contracts where a transaction is completed once certain conditions are met. Now, Neha Narula, who's leading the effort at MIT to work with the Boston Fed on a central bank digital currency called the Project, a once-in-a-century opportunity to redesign the dollar in a way that supports innovation, much like the internet did. Still, there are a lot of slew of unanswered policy questions around how a digital dollar would be designed, such as how people would get access to the money, or how much information the government would be able to see about individual transactions. The decision is also tied to a far more controversial policy supported by Democrats like Warren and Senate Banking Chair Sherrod Brown to give regular Americans accounts at the Fed. What problem is a central bank digital currency trying to solve? In other words, do we really need one, they're asking? It's not clear to me yet, said Senator Pat Toomey, in a view turning the Fed into a retail bank is a terrible idea. I think actually getting rid of the Fed totally is the best thing to do. But it went on to say here that the fact that China's created a digital currency does not mean it's inevitable that the yuan will displace the U.S. dollar as the world's reserve currency. They went on to say that for their part, banks fear a Fed-issued digital currency could make it easier for customers to pull out large amounts of deposits and convert them to digital dollars during a crisis, the virtual equivalent of a bank run, putting financial stress on the institutions and making less money available to provide credit for people, businesses, and markets. Now, they went on to say that it could also potentially deprive them of customers, something the lenders say would interfere with lawmakers' vision of increased financial inclusion. While it is true that deposit accounts are often the first step towards inclusion, the benefits of a long-term banking relationship go well beyond a deposit account. The ABA said in a statement, the same is not true of a central bank digital currency account with the Federal Reserve, which would not grow into a lending or investing relationship. The Bank Policy Institute, which represents large banks, has also argued that many of the benefits of a digital dollar are mutually exclusive because they are predicted on different program designs or effectively non-existent because the program design that produces them comes with costs that are for reasons unbearable. They went on to say also that the decision on whether to adopt the central bank digital currency in the United States is appropriately a long way off. BPI President and CEO Greg Baer said there are also complex, serious costs that will need to be considered, but many lawmakers think it's worth the effort and want to look into it. The Federal Reserve should, they're wanting to get past the Democrats and the Republicans are heavily looking into this. And so it's going to be interesting to see if both parties will agree to this, but I can tell you any digital currency that the government comes out with, I can tell you it's not going to be inviting to most people, especially if you're conservative, if you're libertarian. This is not something you're going to want, and I don't think it's going to, I think ultimately what's going to happen is the government's probably going to come out with this, find out it's not popular with most people. Most people are going to want to go into an uncontrolled digital currency, and I think the government will eventually try to put measures in to possibly outlaw digital currencies. That's the only way I see the government doing this. Whether or not, one thing that's good about digital currencies, they can't go bankrupt like buying a company. They can go down, they can go out, but they're still there, okay? Now, whether they stay down and never go back up, that's something else you have to look at. Anyway, if you got a question or comment, put it below, and also, if you want new videos as they come out automatically, hit the subscribe button on the right of your screen here, and you'll get new videos as they come out automatically. And also go to our website, www.citizenshipquickly.com. If you want some help, hit that top bar that says apply with us, fill out the questions, and then hit that bottom bar that says send it to us. We'll get back with you. We deal with over 100 countries now in citizenship by investment and residency by investment countries all over the world. And I look forward to talking to you on the next video. Take care.